Oh, and by the way, I'm on your right, okay, not your left.
So, we are now going to move on to the next part here, where we're going to have the candidate forum questions. I have some questions here that people, everybody hear me? There we go. People that are watching live that have communicated to me, and then also we got some questions in general that people really want to know from some of these candidates. The first question we're going to ask, and each person's going to have a minute to answer this, is we're going to have this question here, and that is, given the competitive nature of this race, why should voters choose you or the candidate you're representing over your opponents? What distinguishes your vision, policies, or experience in a way that makes you the best candidate for Orange County Supervisor? For this one, we're going to start off with Kimberly, and then we're going to make our way down to the left, and then as we go through these questions, we'll start to shift up the order.
How many minutes?
Just a minute.
One? Oh my goodness. All right, so you speak fast. Okay, so why am I the best candidate? Well, I have a very well-rounded background. As you know, I own my own business for 32 years. And so I am a self-made, I won't say millionaire or multi-millionaire, but I'm a self-made person. As I started my business with just $500. So I know I need to spend my money very wisely. I will do the same, and I have been doing the same for my city since I've been on the council for 8 years now. Everybody knows that. So I watch after your tax dollars. And so I have public experience. So like as I said, I was on the planning commission. I'm a builder, and that's just kind of my, yeah. And then I'm also a healthcare professional. And so I hope that you give me a chance, because I believe we need change. We need a change. Basta. That's what I learned back there. Thank you for that word. And that means, what does that mean again? Enough is enough. Right. Thank you.
Awesome. Got 1 minute?
It's a long question. Sorry.
It's a long, what's the full question? Okay, gotcha. It's given the competitive nature of the race, why should voters choose, in this case, Janet over any of her opponents? And what distinguishes Janet and her vision and her policies? What makes her the best candidate for Orange County Supervisor? We got 1 minute.
He's speaking for Janet.
You know, one thing that really helps for me is that the senator is from here in Huntington Beach. She lives here. She's a part of our community. And I think that's important for us because Huntington Beach is one of the largest cities in the district. It is the largest city in the district by far. And so we need our city council here, and our city attorney, Michael Gates, needs the backup at the county. They need someone that they can work with at the county level to facilitate the funds that are coming from the county. If you guys don't know this, all of the states that come through, or all of the money that comes through from the federal government and the state government, it all goes through the county. And here in Huntington Beach, we need an advocate on the Board of Supervisors. On top of that, the senator's core issues are public safety. We need to address the homeless problem. Right now, homeless spending is out of control, and the senator wants to rein that in. She wants to plan for she wants to fund projects that work and the ones that don't. So, thank you.
Thank you, Austin.
Thank you, Austin. Van Tran is the most trustworthy and reliable candidate for this seat. If you had to get out and wager, because you're making an investment right now. It's like you're buying some stocks, you're down the portfolio, and if you want to make the conservative, even-keeled, trustworthy investment, Van Tran's your man. That's really what I think. Van supports our law enforcement. I believe is the only candidate who would say we need to have ICE in the jails. They're not in our county jail now, and they used to be. The senator provided to not have ICE. So I'll provide the vote. Not in the county jails, but at a state level on the various things, and ICE's power. So Van Tran Van's the man, and he's the most trustworthy. He's your best bet, best investment, because we're all making a bet and taking a risk here on who we elect.
Thank you, Steve. Okay. first round there. Our second question that people want to know, and a couple people have touched on it a little bit, but we really want to hear more about it, is homelessness and affordable housing. A lot of people are asking about these issues. The issue of homelessness and the lack of affordable housing continue to be critical concerns. So what comprehensive plans do you or the candidate that you represent have to address these issues while balancing community needs and resources? So this time we're going to start with Steve, and then we're going to make our way down through the right side.
So with the homeless, we have a combination of problems. We have a federal judge named David Carter who says that we can't clean up the homeless in our streets until we provide them housing, until we provide them a bed and some shelter, which most of them don't really want in the first place because they want to be out free. They don't want to go into that. So that's one of the problems that whoever gets elected is going to have that problem. The other problem is the use of funds. I honestly, I'll be honest, I don't know what Van's gonna say on the homeless. Everyone's gonna say, I'll solve the homeless problem. I go back to my mantra. Who can you trust to do the right thing? Who do you trust to solve the homeless problem? And with the tools that they have, because they're really, the board of supervisors is restricted in what they can do by federal laws and state laws and ACLU and all those problems. I would trust Van Tran to solve that problem. Thank you. Stretch.
Yeah. Hey everyone. So I briefly mentioned it a minute ago, but Senator Janet Wynn is committed to reducing the homeless spending and cleaning up the county spending on homelessness. I don't know if you know this, but the county has $1 billion budget, billion with a B, for mental health spending and mental health services and homeless spending. And right now, contracts are flying, and money is being spent like it's water, and there's no target, there's no goals, there's no way to prove that something's working, something is not working. We need to reel in that spending, and that's what the senator's committed to do. Right now, our current supervisor, Andrew Doe, up to $13.5 million being sent to his daughter's nonprofit. I think that's something that calls into question the folks working in the county right now. So homeless spending is important, and also the county has a ton of land, and we need to open up housing, the quantity of housing we have here in the county, and so we need to develop and build more housing in other parts of the county where there's county property. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, land development, that's really my specialty. So I hope that you understand, as a council member for 2 years, I've been tackling the homelessness issue. And with what? With no money. So I'm sure all of the cities have the same problem. I believe money is being sent from federal down to state to county, but that's where it sits. So to be fair to the cities, if we're expected to solve the homeless situation, we need money. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to take money from my coffers, my general funds, to solve the homeless. You know, we've actually have set aside our FEMA dollars. So I just want to let you know that homelessness, I'm actually a problem solver. So when I go to county, I will be able to see more than others can see to solve the problem. So I am going to send money down to the cities, and I will make sure that you have the funds, the resource to solve the homeless. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. So for our next question, thank you very much, Kimberly. For our next question that we're going to have here, it's going to be about economic development. This is one that a lot of people want to hear about. In light of the economic challenges that are facing local businesses, what strategies do you or your candidate you're representing propose to stimulate economic growth and support small business owners in our community? This time we're going to start off with Austin, and then we'll go Kimberly, and then we'll do Steve.
So once again, the senator is a taxpayer advocate. OC Tax has supported her, the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, as well as the Orange County Biz Pack that it's put on by the Orange County the Orange County Business Council. And so those folks support Senator Janet Wynn because they know they can trust her to stimulate the economy here in Orange County. Right now, with a chaotic county, that's what we have now, it's hard to attract investment. So Senator Janet Wynn wants to bring stability to our county. She wants to bring in investment into our county. And part of doing that also is supporting our public safety, our sheriff, and our local police agencies. If we have safe communities where we don't have smash and grabs, where we don't have home invasions, folks will want to live here in our community. And so the Senator is committed to supporting our law enforcement because she believes that the most important job of all elected officials is to uphold public safety.
Thank you. Kimberly, actually.
Well, economic development, that is really my cup of tea. I just want to let you know, I have an executive MBA, and I developed and actually started my business with $500 and have built a real estate empire with the money I earned. So I know how hard it is for a small business to be, especially in this this day and age, in that you've got increase in minimum wage. As I heard the other day, I read $20 an hour. That's just unheard of. And so we do need to incentivize our businesses to grow, give them the resource, give them, a lot of resource, and not just, telling them that they need to improve and we need to, if we don't have the experience, if you vote for a candidate that does not have the experience to build a business, then don't expect that person is going to do well for our business community. So, in terms of, I just hope you vote for me. As I said, I'm a business person. I'm the only business person running for council in District 1. Thank you.
Ronald Reagan said, the quote, the most terrifying thing is I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. I think I'm paraphrasing. You don't want the Board of Supervisors involved in economic development. I think Van Trent believes that. They regulate the land use in the county islands, which is like Midway City, and there might be a little bit in Huntington Beach, and in the unincorporated areas. And they get money from the state and they disperse it to Cal Optima and the homeless and those things. Less is more. We don't want the county involved in economic development. The cities do economic development. Newport Beach attracts people. Anaheim Disneyland attracts people. Huntington Beach has their own tourist and convention business. Van Tran understands that, and he's going to say, I'm not going to go muck up what they're doing. Less is more. You want a conservative who will bring you less government, like Ronald Reagan.
We're getting some good answers here. So we're going to have one final question that we have here, and then we're going to start opening it up to the public. I'm actually a little bit curious here. How many people are antsy to ask a question by show of hands? Oh, okay. There we go. So keep thinking. You got a little bit more time here. So, yeah, really. So we have one final question here, and it's going to be, I think it's one it's kind of the elephant in the room question, I think. I mean, a lot of people are getting the mailers, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on with this race. And it's called Reflecting on Campaign Conduct and the Negative Mudslinging that's been going on. And so as we approach the final days before this election, coming up on Tuesday, and considering the negative mudslinging that's been observed in this campaign, what message do you want to leave with the voters in this room and beyond and at home about the tone and substance of your campaign or the individual that you're representing? How do you believe that the conduct of your campaign is going to reflect on your ability to serve effectively if elected? So we're going to give a minute again for that one. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with Steve, then Kimberly, then Austin. And this will be the last one here for this round, and then we'll open it to the public after that.
Thank you very much. The message that Van wanted to extend is he is the America First candidate. He's the one that is supported. He's the one that was appointed by President Trump to be a delegate for Trump to the Electoral College. If President Trump trusts that, hopefully you can trust that as well. He supports the parental rights. He supports less government involvement in your lives. Van Tran will be the trustworthy person that you know you can trust, and a conservative, and a reliable conservative that you can trust. Those are the reasons why you should vote for him.
Okay, thank you.
As you know, mudslinging is the reason I lost my last race, okay? Because they're scared of Kimberly Ho. They don't want me to be elected. Well, I know for a fact that Janet is very scared of me. She has stated that she wants me to stay as a city council member forever. So I just want to say that yes, I understand that this is not a party seat. This is a nonpartisan seat. So when you have someone who goes around and say, yes, I support this and that, and I've been endorsed by all these people. Well, I just want to say that I didn't say that earlier. I just want to say that, but in answering your question is that, well, right now she's doing a lot of mudslinging. She hired the YouTuber who badmouthed me every single day, and then she appeared and she wanted everybody to know that he's independent. Everybody did know that he belongs to the Janet camp until Janet appeared with him just a few days ago. So I don't, thank you.
We appreciate you. All right.
Thank you so much.
Now we're going to have Austin for 1 minute.
As a representative of the candidate that has been the recipient of a lot of the mudslinging that's been going on, it's pretty annoying that in this day and age there are Republicans attacking Republicans the way that's been happening, especially someone who served our community for so long. And just me speaking as a community member, I think that's been the most frustrating thing for me, is that someone who's been so faithfully serving our community for so long, to the extent that she's gone to serve our community. I mean, she's in the last year, she's honored 2 officers that have died in the line of duty, and the fact that that people are just spreading lies about her is so insane and smearing her. She is Orange County's best shot at cleaning up house, and she is the honest candidate. And out of all the accusations, I mean, our main opponent has been speaking about her the whole time. I've been trying to talk about her because she's the most qualified candidate, and she's one of us. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Austin. Okay, so we're making pretty good time here. We're on a roll. We're having a great time with the time so far. I hope I don't jinx it. But what we're going to do is we're now going to have some audience questions. And so what we want to do is we don't want to ask a giant book. We don't want to pull out a binder and start reading binders. We don't want to do any crazy stuff. So yeah. So what we want to do is we want to ask a question, and then we don't want to do any back and forth. So we also don't want anybody walking up and asking 5 questions or anything. We don't want that. 1 question per individual, unless it's like totally dead, and then I'll open it. But for right now, a question a person. Try to keep it within a minute, and then the candidates will answer, and try and keep it within a minute, candidates and representatives, and we'll kind of go from there. So who wants to have our first question and ask it? There you go, sir. I can either bring this a little bit to you there, or you can just project your voice, whatever you want to do.
I just wanted to know who each candidate is supporting for president.
Okay. So did everybody hear that? The question was for who each candidate is supporting for United States President. Okay, so we'll first start off with Kimberly, and then we'll go down to the left.
Okay. No doubt Trump. So I just want to say, 1 minute?
Yeah.
So, okay, I just want to say, okay, you know how Trump is being, he's going through hell and back, not even back yet. So I just want to say that that's how I feel, because if I want to make a change, I want to stand up and I feel like I totally understand what Trump is going through. And so my family and I support Trump. So to just answer the question very succinctly there, thank you.
So without a doubt, without a question, Senator Jada Wynn is wholeheartedly endorsing for Donald J. Trump for president in the March primary election and in November. The senator voted for him in 2020 in both the primary and the general election because she's seen under President Trump, we had safer borders, secure borders, we had a much better economy, things were a lot less expensive, and so it was easier on families and easier on all of us. So 100% Donald J. Trump.
I know you're on eggs waiting to hear the answer here, but yes, he is absolutely supporting Donald Trump for president. So that's confirmed, as am I. You know, I don't think it's mudslinging when you tell the truth. And what I find interesting is if you tell the truth and then you're accused of smearing, it's actually the person who says the smearing, they're the ones that are being dishonest. Because everything I've said and Van has said has been factual and backed up by bills that we can show were voted for. In 2018, when Janet was concerned about her election, she badmouthed President Trump. It's quoted in the paper. She said she didn't vote for Trump back then because she had a district that she was scared of, scared she might not be elected. So I can't imagine in 2016 when she didn't vote for him, that means she was supporting not directly, indirectly, Hillary Clinton. Because not taking action in the face of evil is doing evil. You have to take action. So we appreciate the current position, but it's not reliable in the long run.
I would have you stay right there because what we're going to do is now reverse that order. So then it'll go this way. And we're going to have our next question from the audience who would like to ask our next question. Go right ahead, sir, in the black shirt.
I have a question, and I don't know, I'm curious about, does the supervisor have the authority to do this? You mentioned that a lot of the homeless are there by choice, which has been, I used to know a girl that worked in that industry, and I'll quote it as an industry, and she said the same thing. So and the other problem is law enforcement, they can't really remove them, right? So my understanding is they can't remove them unless they have a bed for them. So can the Orange County Supervisor set up a refugee camp like somewhere out in the desert, like a UN refugee camp? And so when the cops walk up to these people, they can say, okay, you got 24 hours, here's your ticket. If we come back and we find you, you're going to the refugee camp. So and I don't know the answer to this, is why I'm asking, does the Orange County Supervisor have the authority, and if he does have, he or she has the authority to do that, would the district attorney or the attorneys in Orange County actually enforce it? I think the police would enforce it, but I don't think the attorneys or, quote, the politicians would support it. Because the reality is most of these people are there by choice. They're not there and most of them are drug addicts. But so basically that's my question.
From what I understand, you're correct on the assumptions that you made. It's my understanding as well. As to the plan, it reminds me of the sheriff in Arizona that wanted to put the criminals in the tents and said that that's good enough for our boys in combat. That's good enough for these criminals. So I think your position is worthy of investigating. These are trespassing violations, by and large misdemeanors. So there'd be some issues as to how long they'd be there or not be there. So there's bigger problems on Prop 47 that Todd Spitzer's trying to solve. So all I can say is that type of a concept is one to explore. Maybe not exactly that, but good things can come from being willing to have that conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to hear the other two.
So I'm not fully sure on the authority to do that. One thing that I do know is that while the senator was in Sacramento in the state legislature, I believe she supported the idea of these care courts. So if you are a family member of someone who's going through some sort of mental health crisis or drug abuse, you can take your family member, you can go to the court, and then the court would then force that person into some sort of treatment. I think that is a solution that I think has just been activated in Orange County. I think in the last year it's been activated, which is, I think, a good resource for our community, for those folks who have family members who are dealing with addiction. beyond that, rounding folks up, it'd be cool, but we should do that in Riverside County, just not in Orange County.
I'm okay with that too.
Kimberly.
I do understand that question, and I totally understand what you're saying. My husband and I, discussed that, and I think that's a very sensible solution there. Here's the thing, the reality is that the ACLU has really put us in a lot of, basically putting the constraint on us, on all of us, and of course you heard about Judge Carter. So we have to, right now, the way it is that, our point in time count for our city is about 200 homeless. So we have to provide 200 beds. And can we provide 200 beds? Well, we had to scrounge up money, as I said, FEMA money, and $3 million, plus we have to pay $650,000, and I think that amount has gone up yearly in service. And what kind of service? That would be to help them, not just put them in there, but to also help them with, trying to clean up and try to go through whatnot, mental, and getting them a job, etc. So I just want to say that the problem is with the county and its inability to put the resource to good use. But currently,
Kimberly.
I'm sorry, but about only 30% of the housing is for homelessness is filled, and they do have a choice to stay or not to stay. So they're not going to choose to stay, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Thank you. Okay. So, do we have any other questions in our audience? Oh, we do, wonderful, okay.
Yes, I was wondering what the candidates for this position would do about the issue of illegal aliens who do crimes here in the county. What steps would you take to see about bringing ICE back into the Orange County Jail?
Ooh. So we're going to start this one off with Austin, then we're going to do Steve, and then Kimberly.
That's a great question. While the senator was in the state legislature, she did vote against all of those sanctuary state laws that shackled our local law enforcement from working with ICE. I believe the senator would support, I think the sheriffs may already do this, but releasing inmate names. And it's hard because right now the state law does prevent us, local law enforcement, from working with ICE, but the senator would support any opportunity within the limits of the law to coordinate or allow ICE to come in. She is an immigrant herself. She came here legally with her family. She was a refugee from the Vietnam War crisis. She was one of the boat people. And so her and her family knows what it's like to live in this country, to come to this country without anything, but they came in the legal way, and that's what she wants for folks coming into this country, the legal way.
Thank you.
I only brought a few copies of this, and I'm glad to share with you this copy here. But if you look at this, it says here, Janet signed on and she said, the Trump administration has justified its vast expansion of those targeted for deportation by falsely portraying that the border is out of control. Paraphrasing now. So to answer your question, first we said Van Tran would support having ICE in the jails. Janet has not voted for that at a state level on certain things, for ICE to not be involved in deportation. And her signing on to this radical Democrat resolution says that she thinks people should not be deported. That's what she voted for with this with S1. So I think Van Tran, I know I spoke to Van. Van supports ICE in the county jails.
I do believe that as a senator, Janet has a lot of power to do a lot regarding illegal immigrants. So now that she wants to come down to the county and she's really giving us the lip service and talking about, yes, we want to get rid of the illegal aliens, and yes, we want ISIS back. I don't think so. I really don't think she's for that. So, of course, during the election season only. I do believe in bringing ISIS back to the jails. I do believe that we need to control the border, and so I'm with Donald J. Trump on that. And I do believe that, you know, they are taking away the resources that we would otherwise give to our citizens, our tax-paying citizens, constituents. So please vote for me, because I am with you on this, and I believe that illegal, my family and I came here legally. So I do believe that if we're gonna come here, we need to come here legally. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that our final audience question, or do we have any more? Oh, okay. Here we go.
I have a question about the ongoing story in Register LAs about possible sale deal with a supervisor and his family member. I know you're only representing Mr. Trent, but do you know when he was aware of that problem? What does he think about it? And if he were elected, would he vote to change the ethic, the policy that the board has done?
So was that question just directed at one candidate?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Okay.
But, well, we know. I'm not the answer.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, start off the Steve then.
great, thank you.
Yeah.
And, I don't have an exact answer, so thank you for the question. I think it's a good question because it speaks to a lot of the policies. So I want to get exactly what you said again, and if I may, to email through you, I'm going to have Van answer your question in the next 24 hours. So you can hear back from him on that, okay? But I will tell you, I don't believe that he knew all these things that were going on, and I don't know if what we read in the paper, I don't trust the Orange County Register. You know, they endorse Janet, they're very biased, they can be very left-wing, the Orange County Register can. So, I don't know if Andrew, if his daughter is an owner of the company, or she works in the company. So, and I'm not in any way legitimatizing any vote, but I'll have an answer for you, hopefully, I will have an answer for you in the next 24 hours. And we can send to everybody. Because I think those policies are important. We need to be accountable to you, and we need to be accountable with how we vote. And not, as I've raised, hide votes. When your elected officials vote with radical Democrats and they hide it from you, that's untrustworthy.
Let's do Kimberly next.
I'm gonna answer that question. You already been questions?
Do you want to answer, or do you want
Well,
to
no,
pass?
that's fine. I believe that right now, you know, the agenda on transparency came before the Board of Supervisor. That was a couple weeks ago, a couple meetings ago. And was it Andrew Doe recused himself, and it was 2-2, okay? So it was a tie. And so as a result, basically, they're saying that if you're going to if you're gonna funnel money to your daughters or your family member or your friends, you don't have to disclose that. That's ridiculous. Okay, to me, that is fraud. So I believe in transparency. They need to disclose that. So I am going to change that. And you know, I've been on the council for 8 years, and I've been able to get rid of the fraud that has been going on in our city for 20 years. So trust me, I will be able to do something about that. I don't think that, you know, if you say to me that I don't vote for transparency, what does that tell you? Well, if you don't vote for that, that means you vote for fraud. So you're gonna be a part of that fraud, most likely. So please vote for me. I'm gonna make a change when I get to county supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. And Austin.
I love that question because it's a question of great concern. Like what he's asked, we're up to $13.5 million sent to a nonprofit that's supposed to be for mental health spending. In fact, $4 million of those dollars was supposed to go to senior Meals on Wheels services in 2021. Well, again, COVID money was flying everywhere. And so this nonprofit has not been able to report how they spent that $4 million for the Meals on Wheels service. They can't even report how many meals they delivered or provided. And so now the county is looking more into that organization. And so I think that if someone who is the chief of staff to the supervisor and has promised in public speeches like this that he will continue the legacy of Andrew Doe, to me, that calls into question his ability to be trusted with these public funds and the public money that's being used and wasted. And so it's of great concern to us. The senator is committed to transparency, and she is committed to, on day one, auditing that money to determine where it went and to bring to justice anybody that needs to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Les. We have time for one final question, okay? If there's anybody else, if not, then you may ask it, sir, but is there anybody else that wants to ask a final question?
Isn't there transparency in the accounting of this
Well,
thing?
you've also asked another question.
I know, but it's like, I just find it odd that there's no transparency where they spend the money. It's a comment, not really a question, but, I mean,
So what we'll do is,
let him ask him a question, yeah, he's,
Well, I have to be at the Huntington Beach home at 9 o'clock, but I wanna thank all the candidates for showing up, and I just wanna give them my card.
oh, okay. So what we'll do is we can end on a question of transparency, essentially.
like, is it not transparent now? That's my question. I mean, what's going on with the county? It's like, is it that non-transparent?
Right, it's not transparent.
So we'll start, this one we'll do right, and we'll go all the way to the left. We'll start with Kimberly, and then Austin, then Steve,
To
and
answer
then,
your
and that will be to answer that, and this will be the finale for the forum portion of our meeting. And
Okay.
then afterwards, we'll hear from
Okay.
Councilmember Tony Strickland.
Only, they're transparent only when they want to be. When it comes to money, funneling the money to their children or their family members or their best friends, they don't want to be. So that has been going on for 16 years, 2 administrations. We don't want that to come back. Please, start over. Do not vote for them to come back. Please. Thank you.
Thank you. So, to call it into, so what you're asking is it not transparent? And the problem with what happened during 2020 was so much money was flying, and a lot of this money was done under no-bid county contracts, which is something that the senator has promised to audit as well. So that $4 million specifically was not a disclosed public vote. I believe $7 million of the $13.5 million was a public vote. To give a subcontractor, this organization, the money. The supervisor did not disclose his relationship with his adult daughter in that. It's not, legally you don't have to, but ethically you kind of should.
Right.
And then for the remainder of the money, I believe it was under no bid contracts. Each supervisor during COVID was given, I think, almost, it was more than $10 million to just dole out. It was a lot more than that. And so what happens is that he just approved the contracts and that's it. The money went, and now we're all playing catch up. The county's playing catch up on where all this money went. So there was a lot of opportunity for fraud. I'm a former accountant, so I know that there's opportunity. Someone will take it.
I agree.
Thank you very much. And then we'll finally hear from Steve on this one.
This hypocrisy is crazy. So Andrew Doe used to be with Janet Wynn. Andrew Doe took Janet Wynn's seat on the Garden Grove City Council. Andrew Doe worked with Janet Wynn. When Janet was on the Board of Supervisors, she didn't do anything for transparency. We have all these problems because she created this mess. Just Google Janet Wynn, FBI, and Cal Optima. I'm serious. So Janet Wynn got Andrew Doe into office, didn't do anything with transparency because she didn't want it. So it's just so hypocritical for people with Janet Wynn to say, oh, we're for transparency, when they've completely been against it and financially, politically benefited from it. Janet's owned a restaurant with her husband, and I think Andrew Doe was a part owner at that time, and she voted against having the ratings of the restaurants. The grand jury wanted it. I'd like to have it. We want to know if there's a filthy cockroach restaurant. You know how some places have A, B, C, D, E, and F? She voted against that. She didn't want transparency in restaurants. She wants the animal, shelter fixed up and everything, but she doesn't want your restaurants to be safe, and for you to know if they're unsafe.
So,
Can I say one more thing?
nah, I'm afraid not. Afraid we're done here tonight. Otherwise it goes on and on and on, right? But I want to say this. Thank you so much to everybody that attended tonight and that came. We really appreciate everybody being out here and talking. That's incredible. Thank you so much. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do a very special thing that we like to do with our speakers and everyone that comes is we're going to do our HB Patriot hat photo. You are all now HB Patriots, so all three of you are going to get an HB Patriot hat, and we're going to take a nice photo together. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have my camera guy, he's going to come up here.
Do you take non-residents as members?
Yes, so absolutely. We're actually we're open to all good people that share our values, and we openly have a lot of other people that are allies of ours in other cities, and we're looking to expand. Who knows? Maybe we'll be the OC Patriots before long. So, yeah.
If you enjoyed it, to catch us on our next video. See you next time.
Thank you for watching. Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go! This video has been edited by IMovieLORD. Lamb Tram. Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
Có toán một diễn tham.
Càng nghe nhiều càng tèo, 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 tèo. Càng nghe nhiều càng tèo.
Quan càng to, cu càng teo mo. Thằng lính dù nào nói khi nhảy dù chim không teo thằng đó xạo.
Mà đa số chúng nó nói xạo thiệt.